Let me take you through the objective. What's the critical path method first? I'm on slide 21, which is critical, giving us the indication of critical path factors. Now this is the slide wherein you'll have to pay a full attention on the screen and let me know wherever you wanted to know a further detail on the critical path method. It is very important for you to carefully understand on the critical path method. Okay. The first thing first, the representation of activities in a critical path method is done in the form of a block. You guys are with me? Look at this block number 1. The block which says task A. So task A is a particular job. That's a particular activity which is going to take 6 days. Okay. So task A is going to take 6 days. Task B is going to take 8 days. Task E is going to take 9 days. Task F is going to take 5 days. So that's how there are 6 tasks defined here. Let us look at from the perspective of this block itself. If you remember, what we talked about is early start, early finish, late start, late finish. These are the terms what we have used in this critical path method. Okay. And there are 2 more terms what we need to use it here, and those terms are forward pass and a backward pass. Okay. Forward pass and backward pass. So first your attention must go to this block which I'm trying to highlight. Okay. So your full attention must go to this block first, and why I'm actually repeating this block is that let us first understand about this block and then we'll move forward from here. Okay. Focus on this circle what I have just drawn. So let us put back the attention onto this circle. The points what you have to note is that I'm actually now telling you the syntax of this block. That means the template what this block is going to talk about. The 2 things written in the mid of the block. The first is generally the activity name, which is the task A. The second is the amount of float available here. That means what is the time to complete this activity. So always when you have a rectangle like this in the network diagram, remember the first item in the center is called as the activity name, which is task A. The second item is called amount of float, which is mentioned as 6 days in this block. Now the second item on the block which we need to put attention to, the forward pass. Forward pass means we are going into a forward direction. From 1 to 6 is called as forward pass. From 13 to 20 is called as a forward pass. From 22 to 26 is called forward pass. Forward pass means we are going into the forward direction from start to end. From start to end, that is what is forward pass meaning. So that means we'll start with the first activity here, the first task, and we'll reach back to the last activity which is called finish. The ES stands for early start, EF stands for early finish, LS stands for late start, and LF stands for late finish. Got it? So when I talk about a forward pass, that would mean that I will move from early start to early finish. That is what is known as the forward pass. If I go in this direction, that is forward because I'm going from start to end. Now what is backward pass? Backward pass is something if I travel back by the late finish to the late start, it is in this reverse direction. Are you getting me? Okay. Let me draw another picture for you. If I'm going in this direction, then this is called as the forward pass when I'm going from early start to early finish. And when I'm going into the reverse direction, which is late finish to late start, this is called as the backward pass. So the arrow on the top is actually the forward pass arrow. Arrow on the below the block is actually a backward pass. Okay, you are clear till this stage? So now you understand on the four things what we have mentioned on the block, and these four things are early start, wherein early start is shown as the day 1. There are times when this is taken up as a day 0 also. So it's depending on what nomenclature you follow. So in this example, we are following up a nomenclature of day 1. So that means the task A is going to take 6 days. Early start for the task is 1. Early finish is 6. So the corner portion of this task, we are going to write down the early start and early finish. The late finish and late start for this task is available to us here. So this is the information which is available to us, and how we have to fill up this information is I will guide you now. So let me first now repeat what I have shared with you. The task A is the activity name. That is the amount of slot this task has, which is 6 days. ES is early start, EF is early finish, LS late start, LF late finish. So the same template, the same kind of legend is going to be used in each of the other blocks what we have talked about. Let me now give you some practical example of how to create the early start, how to create the early finish. And this example would also clear you on certain definitions. The purpose of the critical path method is the purpose which helps us to identify how early an activity can be started and how fast an activity can be completed. That is the purpose of this activity. Okay. Now there is a question by one of the participants saying, can I know on the detailing or the definition of the early start and early finish and stuff? Sure. And this is very simple as the full form of these names itself. And the early start means what is the best time earliest available for us to start is known as the early start. What is the earliest time I can finish a task is known as early finish. And the another thing is what is the late start? That means how late, that means how long should I be holding up to a particular task is called as the late start. And late finish is again how long can I delay, how long can I actually delay on a particular activity. That is called late finish. So early start, early finish, late start, late finish. Got it? Now let me tell you in giving the indication of how should we start the activity, because till now what I have covered is that I have only explained you the block which is the first block. Now you are clear in the nomenclatures which are used in each of the blocks. So if I give an example of task E, so you guys know it very clearly. That's task E, which is the activity name. 9 days is the float time available here. And then there is an early start and an early finish, late start and a late finish. Let me now explain this chart in further detail. and that would be the time I think a lot of your queries would get answered, and then I'll take up the remaining questions. Okay, so that's the way we will move from here. So you must know how to draw the critical path method. Remember, with the help of this diagram, the purpose we need to have is we need to look at the scheduling, we need to look at the delays, what can be introduced if there is a need, and we need to also find out which is the critical path in this example. If you look at from the start, there are two possibilities. I can actually go via task A, task B, task C, task F and finish. That is the one path available to me to complete the job. The second path available for me is start, task D, task B, task E, task F and finish. So if I have to reach to the finish stage, I need to complete both the processes, which is the process which starts from the sequence which starts from start, task A, task B, task C, task F and finish. That is one. And the second is start, task D, task B, task E, task F, finish. The way the calculation of the critical path is done is that you would write if I have to look at the two paths which are going to be available here, the first path which is available to me is a path which starts from activity A, then starts from activity B, then starts from activity C, then starts from activity F. So that's the path 1. I am not writing any other thing. I'm saying path 1. This is start, A, B, C, F and finish. Okay. So that's path 1. And what is path 2 available to me here is start. I have task D. I have task B. I have task E. I have task F and finish. Are you guys with me till here? So these are the two options before I add up some more options. The more options available in this path is start. Let me write down this as a path 3. After start, I'll go to task A. From A, I will go to task B. From B, I have an option to look at the task E, the task F and end, which is finish. Okay, that's another path. Now let me bring up another path, and the next path what you can look at is start. From start, I can see task D, task B, task C, task F, finish. Okay. So now what you have understood is that in the given network diagram, the four options what I have created to give you an idea of how the critical path is going to be calculated, I have seen the four different paths which we have to pass through to reach to the finish stage. And what we need to now do is we need to now sum up and add the total time needed for a particular path. So we will calculate what is the total number of days needed for finishing each of the tasks as defined in the respective paths. So let me first look at the path A. What is the time needed for path A is that I will add up activity A, which is 6 days, activity B, which is 5, 6 plus 5 is 11, activity C, which is 8 days, 11 plus 8 is 19, then comes F, which is 5 days. So path 1 becomes about 24 days. So that's the estimation on the time for us on the path for the first activity. Now let us look at the path which is going to be available for the activity 2 and activity 3 and activity 4. Now the activity 2 starts from the D is 7 days, 7 and then 5, which is task B. E comes 9. This is 7 plus 5 plus 12, 12 plus 9, 21, 21 and 5, 26, which is 26 days. The third which we have is start A, which is 6, B, which is 5, that means 11, E, which is 9, that means 11 plus 9, 20, F, which is 5, that means 25. So we have 25 days. And the fourth which we have is the path 4. The path 4, what we defined is it's start and D. D means 7 days. Then comes B. B means 5 days. 7 plus 5 is 12. Then comes C. 12 plus 8 is 20. And then comes F, which is 5. So that means 25 days. Now, if you look at this example, what we have done is we thought we would identify the critical path out of the various paths available in this network diagram. And now by the definition of a critical path means that's the critical path means it is the longest path in the network diagram with the earliest and the latest end activity can start. So that means my start time and end time of the project would primarily be defined by the critical path date and time. And the critical path date and time, the point which you'll have to note is that the path is critical because any delay on the activities on a critical path would lead to a delay in the overall project. Remember, we are into the process group, which is the planning. We are into the knowledge group area, which is known as project time management. And what we are doing this now is, since we have to develop a schedule, and in order to develop a schedule, we are trying to look at how fast, how late, how early we can start and finish a particular activity. That is the purpose of this exercise. And with the help of this diagram, we are trying to analyze and find out which is the longest path available for us. So the longest path available to us now is path 2 becomes the longest path, okay, which is D, B, E, and F. So the longest path available to us now is the path which is there at the bottom, which is the path number 2, what we talked about. And if I have to explain, if I have to highlight that path, so I would say the critical path is actually here. So this is what is the critical path. When we are actually going through the task D, task B, task D, task B, task E, task F. Okay. Now some more things on this, which is forward pass and the backward pass. Now we know that the activity is going to take 6 days time. And for a particular moment, please assume that the amount the value written in each of those blocks is empty. Just assume that there is no value written in this block. So how we start writing down the forward pass is that once we have identified the critical path, which is D, B, E, F, D, B, E, F. So that is the way to start. So first we need to start filling up the block, which is the block task D. Why task D? Is because that is the first activity in the critical path. So we start filling up the forward pass by the first activity on task D, first activity in this network diagram, which is task D. So since this task is going to take 7 days, so I have written 1 here and 7 this side. Okay. 1 here and 7 this side would very clearly mean what? That day 1 I'm going to start this activity. Day 7 is the early finish. And then we'll move on to the second task in this network diagram by the critical path, which is B. In B, we know this activity is going to take 5 days. So what we have done is we have done the calculation here that this activity starts on day 8. And if you try to do a calculation manually, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So on the fifth day, this activity is completing in, which is the early start and the early finish of this activity. That means this cannot start before the 12th. Now the next path, critical path for us is E, which is here. And this numbering will continue from the last where we left 12. We have written 13 and this task is going to take 9 days. So 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 and 21. 9 days here. This task can be finished by the 21st day. And then we'll move on to the fourth task, which is task F. Look at 26 days, the task F. And we will put up the 22 to 26. So the way we will start this numbering is, it will actually start from the critical path, and the critical path now I have highlighted back in the red color for your convenience. So that is the way we will find out a critical path. Now, by the way of the critical path method, what we have now done is that we have identified the critical path. We have now also done the forward pass, and forward pass means early start to early finish. We have first finished up the block, which is the task D. And if I have to tell you whatever we have finished till now on the critical path is that, let me put up a small arrow for us to notify that we have completed this. Correct? We have completed task B. Correct? We have completed task E, and the fourth which we have completed is the task F. So the task wherein I am putting these 4 dots is the task wherein we have completed the forward pass. The next thing what we should do is that we should complete the forward pass for the remaining paths. So let us start with the path 1, which is path 1 is start A, B, C, F. What we need to note here is that the task A was needing 6 days, so early start and early finish is 6. Now is one thing which you need to pay attention to. Remember, by the time the task B is starting up, it is going to start up on the 8th day. However, we have the task A getting completed in the day 6. So that means there is a gap between the 8 and the 6. There is a 1 day gap. Why 1 day gap is because task D was requiring the 7 days, which is the critical path method. So this is like the task A now carries a 1 day buffer, which is known as float. So the 1 is mentioned here, which gives us an indication of the float available for this activity. That means that is the 1 day kind of time available for the purpose of you scheduling certain things, or if you want to delay an activity you want to wait for, this is the 1 day available to you as the float. So the time which is a free float means a time an activity can be delayed without delaying the early starts of the next activity. Okay, now you are getting the definition of free float. Free float is also known as slack, S-L-A-C-K, slack. So if we follow this diagram, I'll repeat the definition. The amount of time we can delay an activity without delaying the early start of the next activity. So that means I can delay the activity task A for 1 day, because day 8th this activity is going to start. Day 6th the task A is going to end. So 1 day of buffer is actually available here. And when I'm actually doing the numbering of the early start and early finish, when I'm putting up the value, remember this value, there is a circle here. That means I have already finished this value. So 8 is already mentioned here. 1 to 6 you can mention because task is going to take 6 days. But here I will not write a 7 because I've already filled up based on the critical path. That 1 day float I have mentioned here. So I will remember why I have put in this one. That means there is a 1 day float available to me. Now I'll move forward from task A to task B and then to task C. Now remember one thing, the task C says this is going to be completed in 8 days. So what I need to do is I need to pick up the timing from the previous task, which was getting finished off on 12th. So 13th day I can start up the activity C and I can run this activity till this activity is for 8 days. So 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So this task will be, the early finish date for this task is 20. Now if I move further on the task F, remember the task E is going to take 9 days time. Task A, C is going to take 8 days time. So that means there is a 1 day float available for you because the next task is going to start only on day 22nd. Right guys? So what you need to now understand is that if I follow this methodology, that is how I will fill up the top portion of the block, which is early start to early finish, which is also known as forward pass. So what I've explained to you now is I've explained to you on the float, I've explained to you on the forward pass. Now let us start and work on the backward pass. Backward pass, I told you, when we move from the late finish to late start is called as the backward pass. And what we need to do is we need to start the backward pass from the critical path again. Critical path is start D, B, E, F, finish. So let me start with this. So the total time what we have calculated was 26. So 26 is written here. This task was requiring 5 days. So we are going reverse now, which is a backward pass. From 26 to 22, the 5 days have been consumed. We come back. Next activity is going to take 9 days. So from 22, the next available time is 21. Minus 9 days becomes 13, which is late start. And likewise, we'll have done the backward pass till the activity D, which is the first activity. So we need to finish the backward pass again on the critical path first, and then the same backward pass can be finished on the remaining paths. So this is what the critical path method is all about. And now let me remove all the arrows for you for the fairer understanding. Okay. So by completing the picture on the screen, now you have got a good understanding on the 4 different paths which are available for us. And we talked about something called as the forward pass, backward pass, early start, early finish, late start, late finish. We talked about floats. Free float is something which you have witnessed in the calculation what we just did in this diagram. That is called as free float. The free float for this is one day available in this activity, the second day available in this activity, and this is primarily, I believe, the path A carries a 2 days float, path 3 carries a 1 day float, path 4 carries a 1 day float. Looking at the number of days, you can take a judgment, and then you can correlate back to the actual activity wherein you will have that time available. This is going to be very much important because the free float is something we can make use of at a later stage. When the project is running out of schedule, project is running in schedule, project is ahead, project is delayed, every such understanding would matter for you in order to reach to the conclusion. Okay, so what we have drawn is we have drawn the forward pass, we have drawn the backward pass, we have also seen the critical path, and we know that critical path has 26 days here. One very important point which you must understand and absorb in your mind is that critical path carries 0 float. That means there cannot be any float in the critical path. Remember, there could be questions around it. A critical path will not have the free buffer. Critical path will not have the float. Okay, so that's with 0 float. So the way you have worked out this diagram is we have moved in the critical path sequence. First we have gone from a forward pass, then we have returned back as in backward pass. And forward and backward pass, by going through the forward and backward pass, we have actually filled in the early start, early finish, late start, late finish on this. So by doing this, we are now getting to know that which is the critical path.